Over the last several months, I've posted multiple videos about this button simulator that I've been working on, and in each video, the game was becoming more and more successful. If we go ahead and look at my Roblox account, you can see that I've passed the 100,000 Robux milestone. So to celebrate this milestone, I'm quitting the game, but you'll learn more about that in my upcoming video. Since the game has been such a large support to the growth of this community, I thought I'd upload a mega video that includes every video I've uploaded on this game. If you're new, welcome to the channel, and if you're not, there's no point in watching this video if you've already seen all my videos. Hope you enjoy! A few months ago, I uploaded a video where I challenged myself to make a Roblox game in 1 week, and recently the video has been taking off, so in this video I'm going to be doing the same thing again. So this right here was my first real Roblox game that I published, and at the time I was really proud of what I was able to create, but since then I've made several games that have helped me improve on both my building and scripting abilities. So over the next week I'm going to be remaking my first Roblox game, and I'll let you guys decide if you like the old or new version better. For this challenge, we are going to be continuing from where we left off on the 1 hour challenge. So if you want to watch that first, you can find it in the description along with my Discord server, which you should really check out because I have some big things planned that you don't want to miss out on. So over the course of the 1 hour, we already were able to achieve a lot of our scripting goals by making it so that instead of having a different script inside of each button, we have one script that controls all of the buttons. But it's obvious that the building side of this project is not the highest quality. So I put together this little asset pack to use for the map, and I think it turned out very well. I didn't really have a plan for the map, so I just started copy and pasting the border parts while placing the grass, trees, and rocks on them until I made a full circle. Next, I started planning out where I wanted the points of interest to be. The circle in the center is going to be the spawn, and the circle to the right will be the leaderboards area. I plan on having a portal leading to the next world placed by these border pieces to the right, and then the buttons will be spread throughout the top and left of the map. To lead the players to where the buttons will be, I used this plugin to create a path going around the map. I also added paths that lead to the portal and leaderboard area. After changing the color of the paths, the map is already starting to come together very well. For the leaderboards, I decided to just copy and paste the leaderboard that I used for the 1 hour project because I really liked how the mesh turned out. Next, I made a sketchy model for the portal, and I added in stairs that led up to it with a little bit of grass peeking through. After completing the leaderboards and portal, I moved the buttons over to this map and gave the game a test. There's not too much to do currently, so in the next few days, I want to add more currencies and worlds for the players to explore. I'm really happy with what we were able to accomplish on just the first day, even if the 1 hour project gave us a little head start. On day 2, I fixed some bugs that occurred when you would switch from one button to the next, and then once I got the buttons working, I added a bunch of them to fill up the area of the map. Currently, I have it where you need to go into each button and manually add the costs for each button, so I decided to create a script that went through each button for me. After this, I added one of the border parts into the middle of the path to fill up some of the empty space. I then added some more rebirth buttons that went around the border part. This area of the map is pretty much complete, but I wanted to add in some signs to show the players where they can find the buttons of each currency. And as you can see, the signs turned out very well. Honestly, this might be the most beautiful part of the map. After completing the first section of the map, I decided to mess with some of the lighting settings, which I should not have done. I think the colors looked fine the way it was. I'm not really sure why I even messed up the settings in the first place. After ruining the lighting, I added in pine trees and gave it an orange color to add some variety to the map, since there are so many green models going on right now. After copying and pasting a bunch of the trees around, it clicked in my brain that the lighting kinda sucked, so I followed a YouTube tutorial to fix the settings. And then I made the colors less intense so that someone would actually want to play the game. Next, it was time to add in our first new currency, wood. This will cost multiplier and will provide the same perks as rebirths, but stronger. I placed the buttons over by the trees because it made the most sense. I then created a bunch of large stones over by the portal area and added our second new currency called stone. You can buy stone with wood, and the stone will give 2 times wood and 2 times rebirth. I then added signs directing players to the new currencies. The last thing I did for day 2 was move the leaderboards onto a raised platform instead of having them against the wall of the map. I started off day 3 by messing around a bit looking for things that I should add. I quickly realized that the players have no way of seeing what boosts each currency provides, so I created a board that lists each currency and their multipliers. After adding the board, my recording crashed. I don't think I missed too much footage, but I moved on to creating a desert area that the portal will lead to. I added a portal in this area so that the player can travel back to the main area. I took a lot of the same steps as the first area with copy and pasting borders, creating paths, and adding in the leaderboards. After this, my footage crashed again, but I basically moved all of the buttons over and created a few meshes to go with the desert vibe, such as these pyramids and cactus. I also added in a new currency called Prestige that will be purchasable with lots of rebirths. Behind the pyramid, I also added a currency called Sand to fit with the desert scene. This will cost stone and will provide many multipliers, as you can see on the information board. That was basically what I spent all of day 3 working on, and I'm not too sure what caused the footage to crash, but I will try to find the issue before my next video to prevent it from ever happening again. On day 4, I did the typical run through of the game to find things that needed to be added, and I noticed that I never added any counters on the left side of the screen for any of my new currencies. After messing with the layout of the UI, we had a menu on the left side of the screen showing every currency that is currently in the game. I have each frame color coded so that it is easy to tell which currency is in each frame. I also modified the shop UI and added an index UI above it, where the player can view information about each currency. But we don't currently have the screen for the shop or the index, so I started working on the shop UI. The 3 game passes I plan on having are 2x cash, 2x walk speed, and a VIP pass that provides lots of perks. I then added in the 3 game pass icons, and I think it's looking pretty good for being rushed. That was all I had time to do on day 4, since I only spent around half an hour working on the game that day. So now we have a complete starter area with a portal that takes the player to a complete desert area, and we have a working index and a shop. So it was time to start working on the 3rd area. I started off by trying to add the portal in the desert area, but I thought it would make more sense if we placed it in the main area instead. In order to do this, I would have to make changes to the layout of the map. I moved the current desert portal out of the way and expanded the map in that direction. I then moved the portal back onto the map, but this time sideways. My plan is to have all of the portals in a line next to each other in this area of the map. While expanding the map, I also moved the leaderboards off of the platform that they were on, because I felt like it was too crowded with the platform. The map felt much more open when I moved them back along the border. So once I got all of the main area figured out, it was time to start on the 3rd area. If you can't tell, the 3rd map is a winter or snow theme. I started off the same way by adding borders and trees and creating a path. I then added buttons, a lot of buttons, and that was basically all I had time to do on day 5. Also, while I was playtesting, one of my fans joined, and he was pretty happy to see me. If you guys ever see me in a game, feel free to join and say hi. I'm very thankful for all of the support I've been receiving in the past 2 months. I started day 6 by creating a snowman mesh for the snow area, since we weren't really completely finished with the map. I then deleted the path that we had and added a stone path leading to the snowman, because I felt like it fit in better. I thought it would be cool if I had all of the buttons loop around the snowman in a circle, with one of the buttons being a new currency called Super Multiplier. This currency costs a bunch of prestige and gave many boosts. I placed the wood, stone, and sand buttons along the border of the map. On the path leading to the wood, I added in another new currency called Snow to fit the theme of the map. Snow can be purchased with sand and also provides many strong boosts. For the portal in the main area, I added the snowman mesh and changed all of the colors to a bright white to emphasize the snow theme. While I was over in the main area, I decided to have the wood buttons loop around the large tree because I thought it looked cooler than just having them off to the side. At this point, I felt like I was at a good stopping point to start working on the icon for the game. For the icon, I took a noob and exported the model into 3D objects and then downloaded it as an image. Next, I added some clickbait text above the head and added in a picture of the map as the background. I then added in a custom face and a button to finish it off. So now that our game is finished, it's time to start advertising the game to people. Before I spent Robux on my ads, my friend had a funny idea. There's a new popular game called Anime Adventures, and on the Discord server, many people are posting links to private servers with good portals in them. My friend thought it would be funny if he posted a link to my game in the server, and a bunch of people started joining. I found it really funny how some people ended up just playing the game even though they joined for something completely different. Alright, so it is time to pay for my advertisements. I decided that I'd spend 750 Robux over the course of 2 days, so let's see if we made any Robux. So joining the game, I can tell that people have been grinding a lot, and one person even managed to get 37 snow, which is very difficult. We ended up making 0 Robux, which is pretty disappointing, but it's probably because the passes need to be cheaper. A week ago, I created and published a Roblox game so I could show myself how much my development skills have improved in the last year. But the only issue with making a game in 1 week is that you don't have time to fix all of the bugs. But let's be real though, we don't need to worry about that because no one's gonna play the game where you just stand on a button for 5 hours. And the video is gonna get no views anyway. was wrong. People started grinding to get first on every leaderboard and would play the game 24/7. Why do you guys enjoy this? So the game currently works, but everything feels low quality and rushed, because it was. So the first thing we're gonna do is upgrade the shop because, well, do I need to explain myself? To make the UI, we're going to use this service called Photopea, which is basically a free version of Photoshop. And throughout this next week, I quickly learned why it's free. Oh my god, it can't be crashing again. Bro, I haven't saved in half an hour. Yeah, it crashed a lot, so I had to remake some of the screens like 3 times. But after spending an entire day in Photopea, we have a cool shop, but it doesn't even work yet. In order to make the shop peak quality, I just tried to copy whatever Pet Simulator X did. First off, they have a shitload of game passes because the game's a cash grab, but they also have many moving images that attract the player's attention and increase their chances of looking into the past. So I spent all night working on just that, and to be honest, I didn't think it would turn out as well as it did. Now when we hover over any of the passes, they get bigger and the Game Pass icons move around every few seconds. To check if people liked it, I posted a video of it in RoBuilder's Discord server, and the feedback was good. With the shop complete, I added a new currency into the game called gems. These gems don't have any purpose right now, so it's kinda useless, but I'm adding gem buttons in the future, so I thought I'd let players save them up early. To make the gem shop, I opened a free service called Photopea, which is basically a free version of Photoshop. So now we have this gem shop where players can purchase dev products to generate gems quickly. I'm going to try to incorporate more dev products into the game in the future, because people are able to purchase them an infinite number of times, compared to a game pass that can only be purchased once, meaning I can milk more Robux out of the game. So now we have these 2 really nice UI screens, but the index still looks embarrassing. So to fix this, I opened a free service called Photopea. Okay, I'll stop. After a lot of repetitive and annoying scripting, I created a list of all of the currencies on the left, and when you select one of the currencies, the information is shown to the right. Now I can't release the first update to the game without adding a new world, so I started working on a lava world, which was pretty easy because I could just make everything dark. Next, I started working on a new feature to the game called sacrifices. My idea for sacrifices is that you will reset all of your stats, but you will receive a boost depending on how much you had. With the sacrifice part of the map done, I started copying and pasting a bunch of buttons to basically cover the whole map. I also included 2 new currencies called Lava and Super Rebirth, which both provide much larger boosts than any of the previous currencies. After completing the Lava world, I created a new leaderboard for all-time cash and created a chat tag script, so now if you're top 100 in the game, it will be shown in the chat. If you've ever played the game before, you might have noticed that the button sound effects can get annoying. So to help you with your sanity, I created a settings tab where you can turn off the music or sound effects. Finally, it was time to start creating the Game Pass icons. The only icons I had to make were faster generation, double gems, and teleport because the other passes were already in the game before. I then spent a bunch of time coding to get all of the purchase scripts working and making sure the Game Passes actually worked. So now it's time to see how the game performs with the new update. Alright, so I've already reacted to this, but the game keeps doing better than the last time I reacted. So right now we have 16 playing and 7.3k total visits. So yeah, we nearly have 2 full servers. And we hit 10k Robux, but there's still another 3,000 pending, which is crazy. So yeah, the game just keeps doing better, because before it used to peak at like 5 views, and then it peaked at 10, and now it's at like 15, 16. Around a month ago, I created and published a Roblox game, and to be honest, I did not expect much from it. Well, the video blew up along with my game and my Roblox bank account, but there is a major issue with the game.
Be happy, you better explain why you use
You see, I made the game in 1 week for a video, so of course bugs were going to be found. So in my last video, I attempted to fix all of the bugs, but long story short, my brain is soft and I suck at scripting. You know how bug fixes are supposed to fix a bug? Well, my bug fixes didn't even get rid of the bug, and as a matter of fact, it even attracted more bugs. And I only have a few days to fix the game before I go on vacation with my family. What am I getting myself into? So what would a good game developer do? Look at their user feedback and try to fix the bugs again? Well, personally, I think the game needs a new map, so let's just save the bugs for future me. I started off by working on the spawn area of the map. I'm going to make the spawn a lot bigger so that it feels less cramped for the players. And after 5 minutes, we have a circle. Next, I changed the color of the grass to a more vibrant green because it was a little too yellow before. The path looks a little bland, so I thought I'd go into Blender to make bricks for more texture. Alright guys, it's modeling time. So for today's model, we want to make a brick. For this very complex model, I'm going to scale this cube into a rectangular shape and then add a bevel to it. Hope you enjoyed today's modeling session. With the brick imported, I just spanned it around the map and made the color slightly darker. I also thought it would look better if I rotated them, so I went ahead and did just that. Now it's time for the walls of the map. I'm lazy, so we're just going to use the same models that I used for the previous map. Well, this looks good. And you know what I like to do? Delete things that look good. That's right, we're starting over and using models from an old map. Now it looks decent, but the terrain parts just feel too low poly. So I changed the grass part so that it has more vertices, and I also shaded smooth. Now I think we're starting to get somewhere. I thought it would look cool if I copy and pasted the waterfall so it's on both sides of the spawn area. To make sure that players don't just run off the map, I thought it might be a good idea to add walls around the rest of the map as well. Big tip for all you builders out there, always add a second layer of walls for some extra depth. It really makes a big difference with how your game looks. I thought it would be cool if I had the portal to the next world be much larger than before, and I'll place it right by the spawn so it's more accessible. At this point I had no idea what I was really wanting to do with the map, so I just started messing around and adding paths. We've got a nice start to the map, but we could use some trees to fill up the open space. Epic tree time lapse. I don't know about you guys, but I think this tree looks amazing. I also made a second model of a taller tree. Watching a time lapse of making paths has got to be one of the most satisfying things ever. Now we gotta add some buttons to go along the path. Alright guys, it's modeling time. So for today's model, we want to make a button. For this very complex model, I'm going to scale this cube into more of a flat square and then add a bevel to it. Hope you enjoyed today's modeling session. Alright, so we imported the button, and I want to make a script where the button increases in size and glows when the player is able to afford it. And with a little testing, we got the tweening working. Then I just copy and pasted a bunch of the multi-buttons and linked it up with your cache, so it only changes once your cache is greater than the cost. And it's actually really satisfying to watch. For the wood buttons, I thought I'd add an elevated area in the middle of the map with a bunch of trees to add some variety. That only took like 30 minutes. With most of the map complete, I had an interesting idea. I thought that instead of having a bunch of portals leading to different worlds, it'd be cool to maybe just create a mega map including all of the different zones. I asked my Discord which one they wanted, and it became pretty obvious that people wanted a mega map. So I got right into making the sand zone, which wasn't too hard because I just changed the color of the terrain parts and copied the pyramid models from the map I already had. After a bunch of adding buttons and scripting, I created the snow world, which was also pretty easy to make. I added in the giant snowman from the previous map to fill up the open space and make it more interesting. Before creating the lava world, I added all of the leaderboards into the new map. You know that desert portal? Well, we don't need it anymore, so I deleted it. I put all of the main stats in the circle that you spawn at, and then I put the other leaderboards by their corresponding buttons. Next, I made the lava map, but it was looking a little boring, so I made my own original volcano model. And when I ran the game, you can see everything ran perfectly. Also, I fixed the data store after watching a few YouTube videos, but I didn't want to show you guys that process because I know its scripting is boring. Before publishing the game, I had to change the locations for the teleports, and with that out of the way, we are ready to see what people think about the changes. If you want to check out the game for yourself, you can click the link in the description. So you guys are probably wondering how much I've made from the game. Currently, we don't have many players because I just shut down the servers, but usually we're at around 17 players. We're also at 20k visits right now, which makes it more successful than my cookie clicker game. This game is also a lot more profitable than the cookie clicker because as you can see we have 26,000 Robux, which is 16k more than my previous video on this game, which was less than 2 weeks ago. If we click on the Robux icon, you can see we still have another 7k pending. Maybe we should spend some of it on ads. Alright guys, so I'm here in Arsenal and we're gonna be playing around to see if I can win, and if I do, then I'll spend 5,000 Robux on advertising my button simulator. I better lock in. I haven't played in ages, so I'm pretty washed, but hopefully I can clutch up. 5,000 Robux. Let's do it for 3 days. Oh, wait. In my last video, I was supposed to fix some of the game-breaking bugs that you guys found, but instead I distracted myself and built this huge map to bring the game to life. If we go and look at my stats on Blox admin, you can see that there are quite a few errors occurring. And now that I've completed everything else, I don't have any excuses to avoid the bugs, except for this one. Bugs are just a feature. I'm sorry guys, I lied to you all. The bugs were intentional features in the game to make it more exciting for you to play. I'm kidding. The game's a mess. Before I got to work on the major issues with our game, there were a few other issues I had to fix first. If you've seen my previous videos, then you know that I crashed a lot. So I bought a bunch of PC parts. It was a small purchase, you know, nothing too crazy. I unboxed all of the parts and spent an entire day figuring out how to set up this PC. And after a few hours, it turned on. Alright, this is test number 1. It still didn't do anything else though. So I went onto YouTube to find my tech solution from my best friends.
You would be able to see the networks.
But we still have this annoying activate Windows text on the bottom of the screen, which you're just gonna have to see for the rest of the video now. I went ahead and gave my old PC to my little brother and added the new PC to my setup. Another issue I've noticed is that a lot of you need help with making games, but I don't exactly post tutorials here on this channel, so I've created a website where you can get free assets, or you can purchase more advanced things such as this button simulator template that functions the same way as the one I'm working on in this video. For more information, just search shopthehappy.com or click the link in the description. I'll add more assets in the future, but for now let's work on the button simulator. Alright, so in this next update, I'm going to be adding runes to the game. Runes will be purchased with gems, and you have a chance of getting a bunch of different currencies, with the best one giving 1.5 times all stats. It's basically like hatching eggs in every other simulator, but instead you're standing on a button and getting currency super fast. Now there's not much space to add the runes on the current map, so we're going to be creating a new gem area, because that's what will be spent on the runes. I was planning on adding the gem area right here where the gems leaderboard is, but I think it would be cool if we had it as a floating island and there was a portal right here that took them up to it. I started off by making some steps that would lead up to the portal, and then I created a super simple frame in Blender for the portal. After bringing it into Roblox Studio, I spent a few minutes adding a decal and figuring out how to make it spin, and it turned out like shit. Nobody will willingly walk through a portal with a spiral like this. After about 15 minutes, I found a better decal for the swirl, and I fixed the script so it's always rotating in the same direction. I also moved all of the main leaderboards over here because I thought it looked cooler and brought more attention to this area. With the portal finished, I started working on the island and came up with this simple but beautiful model. Next, I added in paths for the basic layout of the map. My idea was to have 2 different runes and then a portal taking the player back to the main map. I tried adding some gems from the toolbox to fill up the open space, but it just didn't look right. So I went into one of my older projects and stole a crystal model. I messed around with the model for a bit and tried using it as the bottom of the island, and oh, I got something in my eye. This island makes the rest of the map look rushed. It wasn't rushed, guys. To fill up more open space, I took the same tree model from the main map and colored it blue to match the rest of the island. Now that the island's complete, it's time to start building our first rune. My idea is that the player will be able to see all of the possible items along with their chances, and then the player will be able to just stand on this button and farm the items. And if you're wondering, yes, I'm copying all of the other popular button simulators. I started off by creating some text above the rune that shows the price along with the chances of each item. And then I did some scripting, and apparently you guys actually want to see the scripting, so let me walk you through how I scripted the rune. I started off by creating a function that will be called whenever the rune is touched. This function detects which rune was touched and which player touched the rune. The script then checks to see if the nature rune was touched, and if it was, then the script will generate a random number between 1 and 5,000. Then to actually call the function, I pasted the script that detected whenever the regular buttons were touched. So now whenever we stand on the rune, a random number between 1 and 5,000 is printed in the output. Next, I gave each currency a set of numbers, so if the player gets that number, they get that correlating currency. Now when we test, the chosen currency is printed in the output instead of the number. But right now the player isn't going to be able to actually see which item they got, so we need to add in a notification system. I have no clue how a notification system works, so I just followed a tutorial by Polaris Prague for some help. Shout out to that guy for teaching my P-brain how to do this. After about an hour, I finally figured everything out, and we now have this cool notification system that shows which items you're getting. But the player still can't see how many of each item they have, and what perks the items even give. So I created this list and did a lot of scripting, and now when you click on the runes button, a list list of all the runes appears, showing how many you have of each item and what each perk is. To finish up the first rune, I added some of the crystal models around it to make it look cooler. That's it for the first rune. When I finished it, I felt like it was really easy, and then I realized that 3 hours had gone by since I started. In case you were wondering, I crammed this entire update in one day. I spent an entire day working on a Roblox game. What am I doing with my life? Oh, never mind. So for the second rune, I just changed the name and made all of the items way more OP, but also way more rare so that the players will always have something to work towards. If you're wondering how I came up with these names, I just googled the 10 rarest ores in the world. To make this rune look cooler than the other, I just made the text sort of go in a gradient, and then I added some particles that have no actual meaning. They just look cool, okay? Now that all of the runes were complete, I went ahead and added the boost of the items into the multiplier script. Wait, you're not supposed to see the actual code. Ignore how messy that was. Actually, let's go ahead and clean it up. That's better, but looks really confusing to anyone other than me. After cleaning that script, I did some more scripting to add a notification in chat when a player gets a rare item. Let's go ahead and test everything we've added in this update. Oh, hang on, I forgot to make the portals actually work. Alright, now it fades to black and teleports us whenever we touch the portal. Before releasing the game to everyone, I took a minute to admire how good this island actually looks from below. It's pretty cool to think that I was able to make everything in this game by myself. It's been a great learning experience for me, but I think the game is about finished, to be honest. There's not much more I can do other than adding more currencies and runes, which is going to get very repetitive. So I've started working on a game with someone else who actually knows how to script, and I'll give you guys more information about it in the future videos because I'm really excited about it. Alright, so the button simulator is kind of dead since I haven't updated or uploaded a video in the past month, so I think it's time to revive the game with this update. If you're watching this video right now, go ahead and join the game so that we can try to hit 100 concurrent players for the first time. After updating the game, I already noticed a significant increase in players. I went over to Blox admin to check out some deeper statistics about how the game was performing, and let's just say the features are definitely still there. Sorry guys, I don't know how to script. If you guys are wondering what Blox admin is, it's an advanced tool created for Roblox developers who want a deeper look into a bunch of statistics that the regular Roblox analytics does not offer. Blox admin offers real-time server metrics including memory, networking, and instant counts. There's also a section where you can view all players who are currently online along with real-time chat logs for each server. But Blox admin is really useful to me because it offers live error tracking so that you can discover bugs within your game and you can see which ones occur the most often. Mine are features though, so I'm not going to bother fixing them. Another feature that's useful in larger games is a moderation log where you can see who has been kicked or banned along with the reasoning behind it. I haven't had to worry about that much because you just stand on a button in my game. Go to bloxadmin.com through my description and use code DHAPPY for a free 14 days. Special thanks to Blox admin for sponsoring this video. I wouldn't accept a sponsorship if I didn't truly believe that it was making a positive impact on you guys, so you should really check it out. Alright, that's enough promo. Let's talk about how my game made $600 in Robux. My income came in 3 different ways. First is game passes. All of my game passes perform pretty similarly, with multiple of them earning over 10,000 Robux. Another way my game is making money is through developer products. A developer product is like a game pass, except the player can buy it an infinite amount of times. I haven't earned much from dev products, except for one day where I earned 10,000 Robux out of nowhere. The final way I'm making Robux is through premium payouts. This is my best friend because I get paid as premium players spend more time in my game, and I don't even have to do anything. And my game takes a long time to beat, so I get plenty of playtime. In the past month, I have generated over 7,000 Robux in revenue off of premium payouts alone. So yeah, that's how my game has made $600 worth of Robux in the past month. If I were to DevX the Robux, I would obviously get less than $600 because of the conversion rate, but that's how much it would actually cost to buy the Robux at least.